Hi everybody, it's me, Alex. Today I wanted to talk about my job because whenever I tell people what I do, they just get a blank space. Zit, nothing, nada. So because nobody knows what I do when I first tell them, regardless of their age, which is quite surprising when I think about younger people, I decided to help shed some light on this whole thing called content writing slash copywriting. First of all, let's talk about the differences between these two. I would like to say they're very similar. So what is content writing and what is copywriting? A content writer's main goal is to inform the reader. A copywriter's main goal is to sell something to the reader. But if you work as a copywriter, you will find yourself plenty of times in the position of writing about an article which you are meant to sell, or maybe not you personally, but which has to be sold by somebody. So as a result, these jobs have a lot in common, so much that I will just refer to them interchangeably throughout the video because they're pretty much the same thing. I mean, if you have worked as one of these two jobs, you you know what I mean. You'll have to do the other as well at some point. This field is related both to journalism and marketing. So, what do you need to be a copywriter? Well, the main thing is a lot of words. Your vocabulary has to be as big as possible because everybody's looking for original content. You can get inspired from other sources, it's no problem, but the end result has to be completely original and different from anything else you can find on the internet because that's how SEO works. I will not get into explaining SEO, that's a whole other thing. Although they're related, but you're not going to actually do SEO. Okay, so maybe you need one thing from SEO, which is the keywords for the articles. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start with the beginning. So, as a copywriter, content writer, you will have somebody who will give you keywords or the title of an article, the theme of an article, and you will have to write an original text about it or containing that tagline, that keyword. It's recommended that you will include the keyword as many times as possible, but also in a very natural way so the reader won't feel like it's repetitive. No. Of course, the text has to follow some rules which are also put in place by the person who gives you the keywords or the theme of the article. The article can be formal or informal. It can be very friendly to the user. It can have a more of an encyclopedic, encyclopedic. So the article can be more formal or informal. It can be more technical or more friendly, so to say. Basically, you need to know how to write in very different styles because the people asking for those articles may have very different demands from one article to another. In one day you can write, let's say, like 5 types of articles, and when I say types, I mean like they can be about the same thing, but they have to be written completely different. Like one goes on Facebook, so it's kind of formal but not really. One is for Instagram, so it's up and cheery and whatever. One is for LinkedIn, so it has more of a serious tone. So because you do all of that research, you basically become an expert on every little thing in this world. Like, I'm an expert in plumbing now because I had to do a lot of research this week about plumbing and all of the things which I don't know how to say in English. because they're complicated. Of course, you have a deadline, which is one of the most annoying aspects of this job. But well, every job has a deadline to a certain extent. Only in this case, you are told this is the deadline. When you finish the article, you click save, you send the article, and that's it. You have no claim over it, as far as I know. It's kind of like ghostwriting for Beyonce, you know. Only a few people know you did it. Yeah, so basically that's copywriting. It's a lot of writing. And even after this explanation, people are like, oh, so you write for newspapers, so you write books, so I'm like, no. So where do these articles go? Well, on the internet. No, they go on various websites. You basically sell them to whoever's paying, you know. I mean, I've seen articles on blogs, on websites, even wrote for news sites, so they can literally be anywhere. So where do you do this amazing work? Well, I'm glad you asked. You can either be a freelancer, work from home, or work in an office. So I'll start explaining the first one a bit because it's the more interesting one, which a lot of people feel drawn to, the prospect of working from home. I also worked from home for like 3 years, maybe more, and it sounds like a great idea. Maybe it is for some people, but for a lot of people it's not. You have to be really tight with your schedule. You have to know how to divide it. You have to be demanding with yourself, because it's very easy for you to say, oh, I'll just do them later. So where can you start freelancing from? Well, luckily there are plenty of websites which you can access. You just Google freelancing job or something, preferably in your language. The downside is freelancing is now a universal term, and I was looking for freelancing jobs in Romania, but I would get Google results from the United States and whatever, and that's very frustrating. But there are websites for probably every country for freelancing. So just do a little bit of research. You'll find them, don't worry. There you'll find people, companies requesting a certain number of articles on certain themes. You mail them. If they like you, they will respond and they will say, hey, yeah, I need this. But before you go any further, be careful on who you trust, because there are people out there who are out to scheme you. It doesn't sound like much of a thing, but it actually is. I wasn't schemed, but I was really close to being schemed by a professional. You know, they gave me the list of articles they wanted, and the paying was rather good, and I was about to start working when I realized, wait, so what guarantee do I have? So I asked for a phone number. They didn't want to give me one. They didn't want to tell me the name of the company. They didn't want to tell me anything. So basically all I had is an email address. Well, honey, that's not how it works. Okay? I can go to the police saying, oh, this email address said they'll give me money if I write articles. It's not how it goes, especially given how we don't have a contract and basically qualifies as illegal work. So yeah, you have to find a way to trust the person, like have at least the name of the company, the phone number, contact. Maybe you can meet them if you're in the same city, but find a way to make sure you can trust them. Okay, so I was lucky enough to find somebody in the same city as me. So we met every end of the week, and they would give me the money, we chat a bit. It was actually like sort of a friendship, despite the person being twice my age. And it worked really nice for quite a long time. Another perk is you have to another perk is the fact that you can take time off more than you can from the office. At the office you always have to ask your boss, and they may not always give you some time off when you really need it, but well, now it's your time, it's on your terms. I mean, yeah, if you take a responsibility, you should follow through, but you can choose not to write any articles for the next week, and it's okay, you know. Of course, this means you won't have money for the next week, but that's another story. So what is this slippery slope I was telling about? Well, because you have so much free time now, it's very easy to postpone writing the articles. You can always think, well, there are 24 hours in a day, plenty of time to write them. I had a period in which I wrote like 20 articles, which depends on your point of view. It can be a lot or a little, but it would take time, it would take hours. So what would I do? Well, at the beginning I would do them basically since I would wake up, rise and shine, brush my teeth, eat something, start writing, do my thing, be free for the be free for the rest of the day. But as time passed by and people realized, oh, well, we have 24 hours to write them, let's hang out, let's help me with this, let's blah 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 blah. Soon enough you'll start convincing yourself, yeah, I'll do them later. It starts with one article, then 3, then 5, the next thing you know, it's 10 p.m, we haven't written. So you start writing then, and time still flies, and you go to bed at 6 in the morning, your whole schedule goes like that. So, and that's not a one-time thing, if it happens once, it's gonna keep on happening. Basically, you need to stick to your guns in front of yourself. It's you versus you. It's the lazy you who says, do them later, with the you who needs the money to survive. But this freelancing doesn't give you a lot of guarantees. Like, you don't get health insurance, you don't get money for pension when you retire. It's a lot of things which they may not matter at a certain time, at a certain age. Like when I was 21, it did not matter. But once I got to my mid to the late 20s, I started thinking, well, what if I live past 65, I might need some money, I need some health insurance right now actually. So that's how you move to the office job. So the experience I had with working in an office as a content writer is based on my previous engagement in my hometown, which was, well, it was a job I took in college because my parents were like, get a job. It was basically like a deal, like if I can hold on to a job, they will help me move to another city, a big city. So I applied to some random job I found on the internet about being a content writer. Luckily, I had experience writing for Wikipedia before when I was in high school, so it helped a lot. It helped me as a person, it helped me develop my vocabulary, but it also helped my resume. So it's a win-win situation. I got a job, and it was nice. No, it wasn't. So I would write articles like advertorials, which is not that kind of articles where it says click here for more info and it sends you to another site, or maybe it doesn't say click here, it just has a blue word, and when you click on it, it sends you to another site. Yeah, I was writing that kind of articles, which is a bit like skimming people, so I didn't really like it. But what was even worse is that the CEO, guys that I told you about at the beginning, remember? The ones I was telling you about. You don't need to worry about them. Well, okay, so I also told you have a bit of dealing with them. They were the ones giving you the keywords, and the keywords are based on what people Google for. And people don't Google using proper grammar. So you will find yourself in the position of writing a perfectly good article with perfectly good grammar, and then suddenly you would have that those keywords which were so out of place. No matter Hemingway couldn't have put them in a proper place because they were just keywords. They weren't an actual way of speaking or talking. But well, I did my best, so it was good. A prime example of something which you would have to fit in an article in the most natural way is phone case yellow free. You know, it's something you would Google, but it's not something you would say to anybody. But because you would Google phone case yellow free and you want the exact results of that, my goal, the goal of any copywriter, content writer, is to use those keywords in the article a couple of times so it will be optimized, leading to the article point being the first one on the Google page, or at least on the first page, because everybody knows like nobody goes to the second page of Google. So basically you are helping people who are working on optimizing the page, making it go to number one in the Google search engine by making long articles, informative articles, using the keywords. There are such details that you have to keep in mind. So taking into consideration of all of that, naturally, like I said from the beginning, you have to have a big vocabulary. If you struggle with grammar, with synonyms are your best friend in this job. I cannot think of a single thing that can help you more than synonyms, especially when it comes to rephrasing sentences, when you barely understand what the author is talking about, but you have to write the article, you know. But one big minus, whenever you're working as a freelancer and you have a collaboration going on with somebody maybe, or you work in an office, is that those people will see you as a writing machine. They don't care if you cannot at the moment, or basically if you prove to them that you can write an article in 10 minutes, that's all they know, that's all they care. They expect all of their articles to be written and delivered in 10 minutes. It doesn't matter the complexity of what you're writing about, for them it's all the same. Hey, if you could do this 10-minute article again and again, you know, I mean, assuming it's not a one-time thing, you know, like if you get them used to you delivering right on time, they will want the same thing over and over again, which is a lot to ask for. I get their point of view, but they tend to not get yours, because sometimes you need a lot of research. Like, I know of nothing about plumbing, okay? So I had to do a lot of research in order to write an eloquent article. So naturally it took me more than 10 minutes, but that is not what the boss cares about. This is something you will face all throughout your career, no matter with whom you are working, because everybody wants their articles up and running so they can start making money. You are just one piece in the machinery. Basically, you'll find those people who want quality over quantity. These are people who are willing to give you more time to do your research. Even if you deliver usually in 10 minutes and sometimes it takes longer, they may understand why, and they'll give you a break. They'll be like, okay, take your time because I know you will deliver. Okay, these are quite rare. Then you will have those which value quantity over quality. This this is not very good for you because it doesn't make you grow. You will write faster maybe, but you will not write better. And your goal is to write faster and better. Okay, so I I work for somebody and they really prioritized quantity over quality, and it showed, and it was horrible, and we didn't really get along because uh, I cannot deliver a bad quality article on purpose, like everybody has a slip, you may make a mistake, it happens, nobody's perfect, you can proofread it and still not see it, but to write just for the sake of writing and just fill up pages, and you can get somebody else to do that. It's not who I am, okay? Then you have like the third kind of people, those who want quality and quantity at the same time, and usually these are the people who don't have a lot of experience maybe in the domain, because they don't understand the resources, the time you need to make a good article, but they also want a huge number of good articles. They will check your articles after you've written them, and they will pinpoint really small mistakes, which is not a bad thing if it's a mistake that happens. Like, hey, I noticed you don't use the past tense here, although you should, and it happened a couple of times. That's something that should be addressed. But if it's something that happened only once in an article out of 100, it's obviously not a problem. But those people will stalk your articles, and they think they know better, to the point where you think, well, if you're so great, why don't you do it? Now we are getting to the best part, and by the best part I mean the part which everybody cares about, the money. So how is the dinero going in the copywriting business? Well, as with everything regarding to writing, it sucks. Edgar Allan Poe didn't die poor for no reason, okay? That man had talent, and he still died poor as hell. So as a copywriter, don't expect to make a lot of money. You can make a decent living. You can actually earn more than the medium income, but that requires a lot of work, and you usually get those money if you work on a commission or as a freelancer. If you have a standard payment plan, which regardless of how much you write, you get paid the same, it doesn't really matter. So when I was working as a freelancer, I actually earned more money than I did when I worked in an office, which is of course very tempting to go freelancing, but like I said, freelancing has other downsides, so I would recommend freelancing every now and then, or for a while, for a couple of months tops. It's not something for the long run for most people. Some people can really manage their schedule. They know how to plan, they know how to keep it, and kudos to them for being able to. But most of the people that I know cannot. It's really hard. The temptation to not do it is so big, you have no idea. And as strong as you are at first, like I said, after a couple of months, the enthusiasm kind of goes away. So you just feel like it's an obligation, like you're getting back to that kind of office state of mind where you have to do it. But in order to get more than the average income by being a freelancer, first of all, you need to find somebody who pays a lot, not the minimum for the article, somewhere in the middle or more than the average, of course. And also you have to work overtime, sometimes to the point where you can't think anymore. Like in the moment when you write the last article for the day, you, you don't want to think anymore because you cannot think anymore. So, you know, in conclusion, what are some of the positive aspects of content writing and what are some of the negatives? So, first of all, the number one is self-improvement, which sounds cheesy, but it actually helps you grow as a person and in your career. It's a job which makes you use your brain at full capacity most of the times, if not always. You learn new words, you learn new technologies, you learn how things work, you learn a million things. It's a highly interesting, educational, cool job. Not a lot of jobs can offer such diversity. You get a good feeling about yourself because, like I said, if you know your way around the world, you can manage this business, and naturally you are going to get praise. You will notice when you start doing good, when you're not doing good, and in those moments when you're doing good, man, does it feel great. It feels amazing. Also, you get respect from other people while working in the office. People who aren't in the content writing, copywriting business, they will come to you when they want an idea said in a more fancy way. You are seen as the creative one, as the artist of the group, so to say. Even if your writings don't actually have any sort of artistic value, you are seen in a different light compared to everybody else. Like an accountant is seen as this math genius. You as a content writer, you are seen as this high-spoken, elegant person, which again helps with your self-esteem. It really helps you learn how to manage your time as a freelancer, especially, but even in an office, because even in an office you have a target, some articles per day, which means you have to learn how to divide your time between research and writing and taking some time off when you need it. But there are also the bad parts. You don't get paid enough for the work that you put because you work a lot and the pay doesn't reflect that. Like I said, you can get a decent amount of money, but I really feel like you should get more because it's a very tiring work. Sometimes I get home and I don't want to think about anything at all. I will just watch a silly movie which will not make me use my brain at all. Especially by Thursday or Friday, like my brain is fried. I cannot do this anymore. Secondly, you have to prove to people you're not a robot who just writes all the time, non-stop, inspiration, non-stop. I would say this is kind of like admiration backfiring because they hold you in such high regard that they know you can do this, they trust you can do this, and they may even tell you that, and they're not condescending, they're not trying to manipulate you. They have a conversation outside of the workplace, outside of the deadlines. You will see this is the opinion they have on you. This is why they trust you with writing this, doing this, and so on. But it backfires because you cannot always, all the time, 100% live up to the expectations. Sometimes you need time to chill, sometimes your brain is really tired, sometimes you're just sick of it. There are those moments, and I'm getting now to the third point, when it gets repetitive. I said previously, it's a highly interesting job, you always find out new things and so on, but there is also the possibility that you may work in a company that is specializing on just on some things, like for example plumbing. I don't know why I keep going to plumbing. Anyway, that's a pretty diverse subject actually. No? So maybe you're a content writer for a company that sells fridges, and they have a million models they can sell, and you have to write about all of them. And as much as they have evolved and have a million functions now, and they can show you pictures and everything, at the end of the day, they are all frigid. They all have a height, they all have a weight, they all have a refrigerating capacity. It boils down to the same thing. So if you have the misfortune of working for a company that has a limited spectrum, you'll feel like you'll break down sooner than later. I'm telling this from experience because for months and months I only wrote about house appliances, washing machines, refrigerators, laptops, TVs, anything you can name around you. And again, at first it's exciting, like, ooh, a TV, a laptop. But after hundreds and hundreds of articles, you realize the difference between them can often be really small and not enough to keep you entertained and not bored of what you're doing. So if you want to choose this career, I recommend it if you have a rich vocabulary. It's not the moment to start learning now while on the job, because people will notice and they will not be satisfied. There are others with experience and you will not compare to them. I would recommend reading as much as possible, writing as much as possible. For me, Wikipedia helped a lot. I never did that for the resume, but it actually improved my resume. Like half my resume is for Wikipedia because I won awards there and all kind of stuff. So be good before you get there. It's my recommendation. Then try to find people who you trust to work for. It's highly important. Those people who will not be late with the salaries, the people who can understand if you skip a day, if one day you're under the weather and you cannot deliver as much, because it happens to everybody. You can't always deliver just as good or even better at all times. There will be always a day in which your quality and quantity of articles will drop. It happens. This is why you need an understanding boss who knows it just happens, and you'll carry on because you have the potential and you have proven your work up until now. Don't forget to know your own worth, because it's easy to get lost, frustrated, confused when you run into products that you know nothing about, that you don't understand. Not everybody is an expert. You are working to becoming an expert, but this doesn't mean you can understand everything that you're talking about. There will be moments when you'll be very frustrated for having to do this. Those moments shall pass. Every moment passes. This is just a small rock in your way to greatness, okay? If you expect a lot of money, be ready to work a lot, a whole lot. I don't recommend working yourself overtime, like maybe every now and then before a holiday or wedding, something which needs a lot of money. But in the long run, don't kill yourself over it, with this or with any other job, because nobody's going to raise your prestige for it, okay? You do you. If you believe you do well, you shall do well, okay? So that's all for this video. I hope you understood better the process and the basic concept of being a content writer, copywriter. If you plan on doing this, I hope I gave you valuable advice which will keep with you and follow it, because it's advice given from experience, which is one of the most valuable type of advices you can get. So, hey, if you have questions about it or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with everybody, but in a good way, not like, ha ha ha, look at this loser. Okay, thanks, bye.